said Tasty was in the chat. Was she the one that said something about why don't we get a life because Tasty is out living her life? Yeah, well, I kind of figure if it was Miss McNasty or one of her people, which I have to say, her people are very obedient. Every blue moon, maybe once a week, I get somebody in the chat, and it's probably her, that says something crazy, and I hadn't blocked anybody. I might just delete the comment, but for the most part, since she told them to stay away, either she don't have a whole lot of people watching her, or they are some very obedient subscribers, which is crazy to me. But yeah, whatever, because I'm figuring if it was Tasty, then you had to watch the little clip to be able to say something, and if it wasn't her and it's somebody that liked her, you still had to watch the clip to say something. So my thing is, give it a thumbs up and subscribe, because I'm still trying to make 1,000 before the 1st of January, and we are at 686, I want to say. Just can't make it to that 700. So I don't know, maybe I'll get an influx of drunk people on New Year's Eve who just want to subscribe. What do you think? Yeah, look at that sun. It is so bright out there. It's like really bright for it to be cold. Look at that. Oh, it's blinding. It's cool. I guess I can't say it's real cold. It's cool. You could use a light jacket. I'm in menopause, so most of the time I don't wear a jacket, but I probably should have brought a sweater. I'm one of these people that I will have something in my car, then I'll get that spell that, oh, my car is so junky, I need to clean everything out. And that's how it was Christmas Day, because like I said, we went to my sister's house and my mom doesn't drive anymore, so I picked her up. So I was trying to clean stuff out and took my sweater and a coat that I had out of the car. So now if I get back too late, or if I go someplace after here, I'm just gonna have to be able to run in and run back out. It's probably gonna be chilly. I think it's getting down to 39 tonight. So we will see. So what's new? It is Saturday. We have one more day after today before it's 2024. You know, I can remember back when Prince made his song 1999, and we thought that that was, you know, really far in the future, and we have surpassed that. Or you remember movies that would be like how the world was supposed to look in the year 2000, or, you know, when we were supposed to have the whole meltdown and stuff when the new decade came in, and then, you know, you're thinking 2024. I think now it's supposed to be, you know, if we show movies back when they talked about during this time period, robots are supposed to be running the, you know, the country, or we don't have to drive our cars, which we do almost have that. We do have the cars that are self-driving. They have not perfected them yet. I don't know about that. I mean, I would like it because I don't always want to drive, and it should definitely cut down on people drinking and driving. But yeah, but I wonder if it malfunctions and you tow up. I don't know how I feel about that. It just seems like there's so many little things that can happen that a robot has not been programmed for. You just have to have instincts to know. I don't know. I look at it like maybe Tiffany Haddish would not have gotten that DUI had she had a car that drove itself. But then I never understand how people with money, stars, athletes, you know, news people, politicians, these people who make way more money than the average person, and they have drivers. And if they don't, they can hire a driver for the evening, the night, for a couple of hours, whatever the case may be. Why would you drive and you were drunk? Even if you was going, somebody says you was going to get more alcohol, why not use one of the services? Because I'm sure in California, you can order the alcohol and somebody will bring it to you. Not here in South Carolina. We ain't got that, far in the future yet. We're always the last on the totem pole to do something. But we're on the top of the list when it comes to shitty stuff like domestic violence, poor education, not paying enough money. We're always in the top 10 or the top 2 if we're not at the top on things like that. But yeah. It is a nice day in the country. You can tell I really live deep in the country, don't I? Yeah, but I like it. You see, there's no traffic. There's no hustle and bustle. It's just really laid back. People say that I'm really far out, but to me, because I've been driving it now for a while, it doesn't seem that far out to me anymore. First time I came out here, I was like, where in the hell is this house? And now I've turned around and bought land down here, not too far from where I'm living. And I got to get my ass in gear and get my house on there this year. I procrastinate so bad. Does anybody else do that? Where they know they got stuff they need to do and they procrastinate and do it at the last hour? Like me in school. I know I'll have a paper due and I'll have 3 days to do it, but I will indefinitely wait till the day of and have like 6 hours before it's due, or I'm gonna get a grade points taken off to do the dang on paper. So, yep. For those who don't know, I'm working on my doctorate. Pretty interesting. I just kind of started doing it because I had a lot of free time, and if you hadn't noticed, I'm one of those people that like information. I like education. So, yeah, it keeps me busy, keeps my brain clicking, and me learning new knowledge. They say your brain will stay sharp if you learn something new every day. So, why not? No sense of me being here and letting it go to waste. Lord, no, I killed enough of them when I was younger in the military drinking. So I might as well try to keep the ones I got left. Oh, seems like nobody's really out today, so it should be an easy drive over to the condo. It is like on the other side of town. I guess it should be like maybe a 15-20 minute ride, depending on traffic. But I think I'm going to go downtown. To me, going downtown seems I get there quicker than when I go to highway. So let's go through downtown, see what's happening in downtown Columbia. It's probably Deadsville because most of the students, we are a college town. We have the University of South Carolina here, so they pretty much dominate our downtown. Everything is catered to USC. So with the students on holiday break, it's probably Deadsville down there, which means that if you want to go to things downtown, you can probably get in there and do whatever it is you want to do and hang out, because there's not 20,000 students doing it. So I'm sure they'll be back probably not next week, but the week after. I know the kids go back to school next week. Let's see, do I need to get gas? I don't have to. I can get it on the way back, because you guys know I don't know how to merge a video. So if I stop it, it's going to be the end of this video, and then I'll have to start another one. I am really putting that on my list of new things to learn. Yeah. I got my nails done, which I normally never get them painted, But the reason why I don't is because I'm allergic to fingernail polish. And this is what happened. You see those two that broke off? Whatever reason, my fingernails start to split when I wear fingernail polish, which I got that from my mom. She has the same issue, so, and this is that gel stuff, so I have to go back for them to sand it off. So I guess I'll go back this week and let them do that, and I'll just cut them down. I never learned how to type with nails. When I was in typing class, they used to cover up the keys, and you would have to cut your fingernails so you could learn how to type. Though I still looked at the keys because our teacher was writing a book, so she didn't always pay us a whole lot of attention. And so I would look at the keys. So now, as much as I type, I still have to look at the keys for certain things, which is crazy. Because really, if you don't look at the keys, I mean, there are people that type 90 words a minute with great accuracy. I guess I'm about at 50, 60, with some errors. Now, when it comes to numbers, because I work at the post office, oh my gosh, I think I can do 6,000, 7,000 characters or numbers, because of the fact that that's all we did. Keyed in the zip codes. That was one of the worst jobs I ever had. The hours were crappy. I worked from 7:30 at night to 4 in the morning. And because I was new, I worked every holiday. So, like, matter of fact, I would go to work tomorrow night because my days off would be Monday and Tuesday. So, like, this, New Year's is Monday, New Year's Eve is Sunday. So I would have to go in on New Year's Eve, and then I would be off New Year's Day. And I was young then. I was in my 30s because I had just had my son, and that sucked because he was a baby. And so having a good babysitter to watch your child overnight, I found one, and then unfortunately she had kidney problems, and she ended up dying. And I ended up leaving the job for two reasons. One, because I just didn't really trust people to watch my child, because he was, I guess by the time she died, he was 2. Yeah, and so that, and I had the worst boss in town. I had never had a job where I was sexually harassed. And this guy, oh my gosh, he was such a pervert. It was so bad that when I would be at work, people from other areas would tell me how he would be hiding behind male equipment, staring at me and playing with himself. Oh my gosh. And I had went to the union on him, but because I was new and they put you in this temporary status, they had me paying union dues, but because I had not made regular status yet, they couldn't do anything, and they were going to tell me to tape him, which is not, I couldn't have used it in court. He was married, and he ended up getting some girl there pregnant, so the first wife left him, and he married the girl he got pregnant, and he was messing around on her with other people in the post office. And then he wasn't even cute. He was like this short old man. To me, he was just old, and I was just like, ugh. And he would do everything to make my life miserable. And finally one night, I was just like, I'm sick of this, because I had gotten to the point that on my way to work, I would literally be getting sick. I was just so stressed behind this job, not having a babysitter, having a crappy boss. And if my son got sick, because when I started there, he was in his first, matter of fact, I have Forrest his name is Forrest, in November, and I started working there that March. So he was still a newborn. And, babies get sick. And he was always threatening me with the job about leaving. And like I told him, I only got one child. I can find another job. You can't give me another baby. At least not that one. So, yeah. One night I was sitting there, and they came around and they said we had to work 2 hours over, which was all the time. So they would just walk around and say, 2, you got 2, which means that we would get off at, let's see, 6:30, 6 o'clock, something like that. You had to do 2 over. And I was just sick of it. So I got up, went to my locker, got all my stuff out, stopped by where the administrator was sitting at in their office, gave them my badge, and she was like, why are you giving me this? I was like, I quit. And I got in my car and I went home. And I never regretted leaving that job, not one day. Even though it paid good money for back then in South Carolina, because that was, let's see, 29 years ago, and I was making $10 an hour, and they just start wanting to pay people $10 an hour here right before COVID, and after COVID they went to 15, because South Carolina believed in paying you minimum wage. People were still making $7.25 an hour, and you know you can't live on that. So yeah, I don't even know how I got on that story. Y'all know I can just go on and on about nothing. We're coming up on the backside of new dorms that they built for the students. The one thing I don't like of these over here that I'm showing you, they look nice on the outside. I don't know how they are on the inside. The one thing I don't like about USC is that, okay, like that's a dorm. This back here is part of USC. It stretches like half of downtown, and you know, you got to be young to go and go to USC. Now, this is one of my favorite restaurants. California Dreaming, but I heard it's changed. This is the new gym or physical fitness center that they built for them. All this is USC. All these buildings down here, well, except for they got the Kroger Center, which is like where you go and see performances. Like they have ballet, concerts, you know, plays, things like that. And then that's the old Coliseum, which where they do most graduations, high school graduations they do. But all that behind there are dorms. This is a hotel right up here. But it's humongous. And so you can't drive to every place, because the way they have the school split up, you may have to go to a class that you can only get to by the sidewalk. And then parking is horrendous down here. And so I had gotten the position where I was working on a case study they were doing. I've done a lot of different things. But the case study was on where we would go into the schools and we would put like this belt on the children, and it was to monitor how much exercise they got. It was supposed to be trying to see if children in urban areas or rural areas were really getting the nutritional value that they needed and the exercise that they needed. They were trying to it was really doing with obesity in children, pretty much. That's the Kroger Center. Let's see what they got coming. The Philharmonic is coming. I know the Nutcracker was there. My Fair Lady. Oh, maybe I'll go see that. I like plays and I like ballet. But yeah, so where it was at, they only had very minimal parking behind the building. And so they had regular staff, and then they had all of us who was working in the study. So there wasn't enough parking. So, you know, you drive up there, you pray that you get a parking spot, but the odds were good that you probably were not going to get one. So then you would have to go back across the main street. It was like a mile away or more. And you would park in this parking lot, and then you would have to wait for one of the buses that the students use to catch it to walk back to the place where we worked at. And if you got there during the time that it was on his, his circuit, his route, then you would have to walk. Oh my gosh, I was just like, this is too much. I mean, they wasn't paying that much. It was okay. I mean, I like to study because, I'm in psychology, but yeah. So I was like, I can't imagine being a student. So when I was looking at a PhD program, I was not going to do theirs. I didn't like theirs anyway because their PhD program dealt with mostly research. And I am not, I like doing the research part. I just don't like having to do the paperwork for the study and the math that goes with it. Oh my gosh, yeah. The stats and percentages and all that you do after you do the study, that's the part that I really hated. So I was like, I definitely do not want to have a PhD in that. Maybe I should have, though. I don't know. So this is actually downtown. Gosh, I should have showed you guys the Capitol building because we are the capital of South Carolina. I miss that. A lot of downtown has become where we have a very large homeless population down here. My church, we would come down here like today, like dates on the weekends, and we would make sandwiches and put sodas and fruit and napkins and toothpaste and a toothbrush and socks or something, depending on what time of the year it was. Have blankets and give out food because the shelter, you can't go in until 6 o'clock. And so I think you got to be out by 6 or 7 in the morning, and you couldn't come back in till 6. So everybody would be lined up outside the buildings. They're probably lined up now. I didn't even look over there to see, because you're trying to get a bed because they're only going to have so many beds. And I don't know, they used to have an overflow building that they had like on Cole. It had to be, I want to say down to 32 or something like that before they opened up the overflow building, which was crazy. But a lot of people don't like staying in the shelter anyway. That over there was the old Salvation Army. And at one time, it was a hotel, and they bought it, and it housed a lot of homeless people. But they have since stopped doing that. A lot of the programs for the homeless, for people with addictions, all the things that are important to humanity and helping us deal with our issues and problems, politicians cut that out. They tore down the mental hospital. Can you see that tall building down there with the red top? That's where the mental hospital used to be, but they tore it down, and it was just empty for many years. And then some private company came in, and they have now built a baseball field over there. Yep. So the Fireflies, who are not even a pro team, that's where they play. So yeah. So now the people that have issues are pretty much on the street because the hospitals are not going to keep them. And they may be in prison because that seems to be the new place for them to go. This is what we call North Main. I'm on Main Street, but it's North Main. And North Main starts going into the side that's the African American side of downtown. So you can tell the difference as you start going. The buildings are not going to be pretty and tall, and it's going to start just looking different. You can always tell when you get to the black side of any town. So we are going. Now it's funny because traffic was not that bad downtown. I wonder where everybody is going today on this side of town. Look like they're building some new apartment buildings. One thing I can say, they don't want to pay us, but they always got enough money to build something because they forever building something new here in Columbia. See, some people right there. I don't know if you saw them sitting at the bus stop with their shopping carts. And I know it's got to be rough sleeping out here. We have a park, Finley Park, and it was really, really nice at one time. And then at one point, you couldn't even go because the homeless had taken it over. So as far as I know now, they have closed it off, and it is under construction for them to renovate down there. I don't know what they're going to do about keeping homeless out. This is another park that people go and sleep in, Earl Park. Pretty nice. This bakery over here, right there, the girl that runs it, she was the one that made my wedding cake. But when she made my wedding cake, that was before she got her own spot. So her prices was much, much cheaper. And she did an awesome job. She did me, it was a 2-tier cake, but it was like called a waterfall. And then it had 3 cakes that came down from the top that went around. Like it would have been a fall. I don't know how to explain, but they were on their own tiers, but they came off of the top. And those 3 cakes were, one was for my pastor, one was for my parents, and one was for my ex's parents. And then she did them in what their favorite cake was. So like my pastor was red velvet, so her cake was red velvet. It was really nice. And then the groom's cake, she made this chocolate mousse cake. Oh my goodness. It was so good, and it was shaped because my ex-husband was a sports fanatic. So she made it in the shape of this big old football. I had people calling me afterwards wanting to know, was there any more of that cake? That cake was so good. But she did a wonderful job, and it really didn't cost us that much. His son. So I have ranted on and on about absolutely nothing. What did you guys do today? Anybody have big plans for tomorrow, New Year's Eve? Are you staying home? You're going out, going to someone else's house? I think last year, I was trying to think, what did I do last year? But I think I stayed up, and me and my sister and my nephew had one toast at midnight, and then I went to bed. We were supposed to go see The Color Purple this morning because we were trying to go before it got crowded, and I woke up not feeling that great. And my sister, who has MS, was saying that she didn't sleep well and she wasn't feeling good at all because the cold really bothers her. So we was trying to go to a show where there wasn't that many people, which would be the early shows, but it was still kind of cold at 11:30. So we're gonna try to go New Year's Day. I have to see how she's feeling later today. See if we may go tomorrow. But yeah, I have no plans. I would probably be at the house because people is crazy. I don't think I've gone out. The last time I went to anything on New Year's Eve was 2019, and a friend of mine down in the country has a bar. I have to call him and see if he's gonna be open tomorrow. The bar was just open. It wasn't nothing big. They had cooked food, and we went and just had some drinks. And it's like a mile from my house. And then I went home. I was home before 12:30. So that was just, big to do. Yeah. So this is Broad River. Crazy name. So this is called Broad River Road, and over there is the Broad River. And yeah, normally it's very crowded over here. people cannot drive. A lot of young people live over here because his father out, and the apartments are cheaper and all that. And so you got more foolishness dealing with them. Well, I'm almost at the condo, and I'm going to have to put the code and stuff in. So I really didn't have anything to say. I do want to say you guys just killed me on the thing about me saying that maybe McNasty changed. With her, I don't know. I guess part of me would really like to see her happy enough that she would want to be a nice woman. But that greedy part of her that was put in her by having lack as a child, I don't know. And I'm really, like I said, my curiosity is not with McNasty. I'm really curious to know the background of Charlene and Pauline. Like, was there, because I think somebody said that she was an electrician, so there couldn't have been a learning disability if she went to school for that. So I don't know if she's just been that sheltered against folks like McNasty, because if you live in a small town and all you know is the people that's there and you never really ventured out, then you don't get, the local cons, but when you're coming from a bigger city and dealing with slick people, and like with her, she's a chameleon. She's going to change into whoever you want her to be so that she can get you. And so I'm just wondering, when is she going to snap down on her? I don't know. But like I tell y'all, I get a feeling from it that I'm witnessing a relationship, not just a friendship. I have friends that I've been knowing since 3rd grade, but we don't have to spend, what are we in, the 3rd month? 3 months? Almost 4 months? I don't have to spend 4 months at their house for them to be my friend. And she lives across town, and I hadn't physically seen her since this summer. But when we talk, we pick up right where we left off at. So I don't understand this obsession with having to be with this woman every single day. And if you notice, that's all she talks about in her videos, and she can't do anything without this woman. Even when the lady was saying that her and her sister was going to go, out camping without her, she's like, well, you're going to be in Texas. I guarantee she don't go and stay in Texas till June. The only way she'll do that is if she falls out with her before she leaves. She may not even go at all. We'll look up and it'll be June and her butt still living with Charlene. It is just weird, and a bit creepy for me. They are doing renovations over here, which really pissed me off because they tore down part of the condos in the area that I bought mine. And so our HOA went up because they wanted us to cover the cost, because those buildings will no longer be rented out. And the owners, I don't know how much they paid them. I heard not too much. So, Well, people, I am at the condo. So, I'm going to tell you guys goodbye. And thank you for riding with me.